When it comes to Madden 22, we all know that it's basically corners and crossing routes. And we also know that sometimes players have tells and you guys want to go from one to the other, or the other to one, or vice versa, or back and forth throughout the play pre-snap, as players like to audible.
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
I know that all sounds confusing, but in today's video, we're going to show you guys a super advanced tactic that you can use to basically call upon zone drops even after you've reset them while breaking the huddle. Let's get into it. What is up, guys? Zan from the Madden YouTube channel, and I know that intro was a little confusing, but in today's video, got a frog in my throat. Let's try that again. What is up, guys? Zan from the Madden YouTube channel, and I know that intro was a little bit confusing, but we're gonna break down a really advanced coverage tip. This is something that I use to go back and forth between zone drops and traditional rules for a lot of coverages that I tend to run, whether it's a match or kind of a manipulation of a cover two that I like to run. This is something that I can do as my opponent's audible around pre-snap. So this is really useful against people who like to come out in bunch and audible to bunch tight end, or maybe they come in bunch tight end and audible to trips tight end, or maybe they go from trips tight end to bunch. You guys get the gist. There's a lot of different tactics in the game offensively where maybe you want to play a match coverage against a specific corner route, but then they audible to something where there's maybe a crossing route, or maybe you just want to play your zone drops profiles. So I think a lot of players already know this, but for some of you, this may be new. What's up, guys? Just want to say thank you so much for helping me reach 13,000 subscribers here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel. It means a ton to me that you guys are still supporting in the late spring into the early summer, and we're going to be pushing forward towards Madden 23 before you know it. If you guys could do me a quick favor, make sure that you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you're really wanting to help, make sure you guys drop a comment below. It helps push this video in the algorithm and helps this content get out to other Madden players just like you that are looking for Madden tips tutorials. Now back to the video. If you guys call a play out of the huddle and you have the zone drops active, so meaning that you have anything set for any of these depths, flats, curl flats, hooks, does not matter. The zone drops will supersede the match rules of the play, meaning if I basically have, let's say my curl flats, let's set those to, for whatever reason, 10 yards. So take, for instance, this play flood, this little 10-yard out route. This is something a lot of players like to throw. So you might want to have your quarter flat set to 10 because quarter flats are affected by your curl flat drop. So curl flats apply to purple curl flats and pink seam flats or quarter flats. So anytime you see a quarter flat on the field, it's going to drop to the depth that you have set. So in general, if they're running a 10-yard out route, he's going to be in a spot where that's actually not a bad situation where he can kind of play in between. So in that particular throw, you're going to want to make sure that you have a zone drop profile active. But let's say your opponent breaks the huddle with a play that has a corner route. You're going to want to play the default rules of that particular coverage, in this case, match. So what you could do is you can turn off your zone drops by hitting reset. Now, if you have auto flip on, this is important. A lot of times it will flip your play back. So this is where we're going to kind of take this to a more advanced state. At this point, you can't do anything else with this play. Don't worry, we're going to fix this in a moment. But your match rules will be active. And I know my play art is glitched.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
It's June, by the way. It's awesome that that's still an issue in this game. But at least now with our corner route, you're going to see that this is match coverage. If I go to throw that corner route, you see that Slay is there to make a play on the ball. Right there, he caught the ball, but that's whatever. So we have that first layer where you can basically reset your play and go from a zone drops profile back to a regular match rules type of play. So this is what I would do typically in quarters or palms to make this work. Now, we talked about the flipping. When you reset your play, it oftentimes will flip your corner. So what you're going to want to do with this is turn your auto flip off if possible. And what this is going to do is this is going to allow you to keep your nickel corner on the correct side. So again, when we take a look here, I've still got the 10-yard curl flat setting active. In the event that, it's 4th down and 10, I think they're more likely to run like flood or, something like that, for instance. So what we've got here is, let's say they come out in flood. If somebody wants to run this play right here, we're in good shape. But if I notice that they audible into something, or I get this hunch that they've done that, I could just reset my play, and now my match rules are back to active on this play, meaning that the purple zone will play a quarter flat, and the outside quarter will pick up his guy man-to-man, and we're in a better spot, no having to flip the play after you reset it, which is something that then takes you back into your zone drops profile. Now, that is where I want to take this to another level. We're kind of talking about the fact that if you have zone drops active and you reset the play as soon as you break the huddle, you can go back to your match rules or whatever your traditional zone is. However, let's say that there's a situation where you want to go back to zone drops. So what you're going to do here is you are going to keep a play in your audibles. Let's say it's quarters, for instance. That is the play that you came out of the huddle in. Now, keep in mind, when we reset the play, it turns off your zone drops. So you can't reset the play again to turn your zone drops back on. What you would then have to do is audible back into the original play that you broke the huddle. So in this situation, it would actually make sense for you to have the play that you broke the huddle in your audible set. Let me take you through this real quick so that way you guys can see this. What we're going to do is we're going to call quarters with our zone drops active and set to 10 for our purple zones. So we are good to go against flood. So they call flood, and maybe they then no huddle, and you think, okay, I don't want my zone drops active anymore. I think they're going to go for a corner route. So what you're going to do when they do this is I'm sorry, Jimmy. So what you're going to do is you are going to reset your play. This is going to take you back to your zone drops. This is going to take you back to your match rules. And this is going to allow you to defend the corner. However, if they were to audible instead of running something like this, what we are then going to do is if we wanted to go back to our match rules, we are going to audible back into the play that we want. So let's reset our play. All right, match rules are active, as we just showed. Now, let's say that I say, no, I want to go back to my zone drops. Maybe they audible, they motion, they do something.
Well, confusing.
I'm going to then re-audible back into quarters, and this is going to allow you to have your zone drops active again. So now when I go to run this, you see that that guy is playing the 10-yard assignment, and I can't throw my out route. So this is a way for you to basically run this play where you can have your traditional rules, but then also have your match principles at your disposal. It's not limited by resetting your play. Now, I know that that was a little confusing, and I'm sure it was really confusing for my editor, Jimmy, because I created a million different takes on this.
It's a lot of hard work, but
for this particular tip.
That's what she said.
Let's apply this to zone, because I think that most of you guys probably want to, see how this applies in zone. A lot of you don't run match. So let's take, for instance, my favorite coverage. One of my favorite coverages in the game is what I like to call the inverted cover 3. And let's say that my opponent is running a mix of plays that the inverted cover 3 guards, and then they audible into other plays where they have something that beats zone drops or, requires zone drops to defend. So what we're going to do with this particular concept is we are going to, let me get my defense active here. We're going to break the huddle, and I'm going to call my inverted cover 3. So the inverted cover 3, for those that don't know, looks like this. I teach this in a lot more detail with shading rules and rezoning and a lot of other stuff. So I'm not going to go any deeper than this.
That's what she said.
But in this situation, we would actually have our cloud flat set to 30, which is something that we do not want. So what we would have to do as soon as we break the huddle is reset our play and then make our adjustments to it to make it work. So now we're in a situation where our zones will actually jam receivers off the line, reroute them, stuff that we actually want them to do. So when we snap this ball, you see we get jams on right bumper. I'm going to try to throw my corner route. He makes a catch right there, but we obviously have abilities and things that I recommend for this that make this a really lockdown coverage. So for the most part, this is a coverage that I like to main out of. However, as you saw right there, sometimes they throw a route that gets over the top of my cloud flat, or maybe they audible into something that I want to basically defend with my zone drops active. So let's say that I have already reset my play to turn off my 30-yard zones. So you're going to see that, you know, we've done this, we've got this set up, and then they audible into PA crossers. And I'm like, oh shoot, I know that they want to throw that deep crosser over the top to Gallup. I want my zone drops back. I have to have Tampa 2 in my audibles so I can re-audible into that, which turns my zone drops back on and then allows me to make my adjustments real quick, which it takes no time at all to do. And now in this situation, if they go to throw their little, you know, crossing route that so many players like to spam on the backside, you know, this is a super popular setup right here. We're going to be in a spot where my outside zone is now going to be set to 30 and be able to get back on that crossing route and defend it. So this is something that I will do routinely. I'll go back and forth between my traditional, you know, inverted cover 3, and then I can basically recall upon the zone drops that I have active. A lot of players like to play with the zone drops by default. What I will do is I will play the other way around. I'm going to have them back in the background, not calling upon them unless I want to audible into the play that I already broke the huddle in, if that makes sense. So I'll set my zone drops to whatever depth I want, 30, you know, 25. I'll reset my play so they're off. And then if I ever need them again, I will just audible back into that same play that I'm on the field with. I think that makes a lot more sense and hopefully clears up a lot of the confusion that might have occurred earlier in the video. So this is something that you can do within match, you can do within a traditional zone. It's something that you guys really ought to get familiar with, especially with the Madden 23 coming out. I know that there's a lot of talk of this master switch where you can basically say, I don't want to play any match rules ever. So if I call cover 4 quarters, it plays cover 4 drop. And that's great for a lot of casual level players. But I think for the more advanced players or the players that are seeking to improve as Madden players, this is going to be something that you guys should be able to work into your defense late here in Madden 22, kind of get that repetition in, so that way when the game drops in Madden 23, you guys are going to be in a much better spot to box people right away. I say this because players really struggle with learning how to beat, you know, vanilla cover 3, vanilla cover 2, learning how zones react. And if you guys are playing a match system or a hybrid coverage system like I just kind of showed you in that inverted cover 3, it's even more confusing for them. So being able to intermingle zone drops and match rules and traditional chucks of zones is huge. It's going to keep your opponent very confused, and you're going to feel like you're, you know, you've got them as your puppet. You know, you're going to have them. And as far as you go, you're going to basically be their puppeteer. So I hope that you guys liked today's video. I know it was a little confusing, but hopefully I cleared this up for you guys. Make sure you guys apply it to your defense no matter what it is that you run. If you guys want to learn how to stop escape artist and stop all the most popular passing metas, head over to gridirongameplans.gg. Go and learn the inverted cover 3. It is truly a game-changing level defense. You know, I win most of my games based off of defense, and I don't think a lot of players can say that about Madden 22. So go and learn some defense in Madden 22. It's going to be so tough to move the ball on you in Madden 23. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab, and good luck.